Hello YouTube, I'm Deacon John. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Daniel 11:33. Today we are studying the sealed judgments and their connection to the tribulation. Let's talk about it. Antichrist will make a peace agreement with Israel for 7 years. But the Bible teaches us something completely different. Let's look at it in Daniel 9:27. And it says, "Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. But in the middle of the week, he shall bring an end to the sacrifice and the offerings." So here, the Bible teaches us it will be confirmed with many. He will be among many who will sign. Just like Donald Trump, President Trump, he had the Abraham Accord. There were many. And he said that there will be many to follow. They're hoping that many will come along. So it will be an international move. Almost everything that's going on right now involves an international move. He shall bring an end to sacrifice. And so he's going to bring an end to the sacrifices. So he's going to come in. The Bible teaches that he comes up among 10 and uproots 3. So we won't know who he is when the peace agreement is actually signed. He will be among many. The Bible doesn't say he will sign. The Bible says he will sign with many. So he's going to give his endorsement, kind of like what we had in the United States back at the Declaration of Independence. Okay, it wasn't just one person signing. It was many. There were many who were signing. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. So we won't know who he is until he rises up among the 10, uproots 3, and then commits the abomination of desolation. Now, there is another teaching that is common about the Antichrist and when the tribulation period begins. Let's look at that in the book of Revelation. Revelation 6, it says, "And I looked, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him. And he went out conquering and to conquer." This is taught to be the Antichrist. And when the 7-year tribulation begins, the problem with this is that the Bible does not teach a 7-year tribulation. It doesn't teach a 7-year tribulation. When the Antichrist goes into the temple, when he goes into the temple and commits the abomination of desolation, the Gentiles will tread the holy city underfoot for 42 months. 42 months. That's, for you Bible scholars and you math scholars, that's 3.5 years. When the tribulation starts, Satan's duo, the Antichrist and false prophet, is revealed. At the same time, God's duo is revealed, and the 2 witnesses. And they have power for only 1,260 days. That's again 3.5 years. Israel is persecuted for times, and half a time. That is 3.5 years. The beast speaking great things and blasphemies will be given authority for 42 months. And how long is that? 3.5 years. Now, nowhere in the Bible does it speak of Satan, the Antichrist, the beast, or the false prophet having power longer than 3.5 years. Consider the opening verse. Daniel 9:27, the verse that we started with, okay? And it reads, let's look at it. "Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. But in the middle of the week, he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offerings. Now, let's go back to the seals. The white horse, the red horse, the black horse, and the pale or green horse. Two different colors. The original word is choros, which means greens. Why it's translated pale? I don't know, but we're going to go with it. 4 horsemen, white, red, black, and pale. Okay? Now, the Bible does not teach these are the wrath of God. When you read it, it really sounds horrific. It sounds terrifying. And someone decided that was going to be the wrath of God, not understanding. Remember the book of Daniel. He told Daniel to seal the book. It's not for him to understand. It's for the people of the time. So we're trying to figure things out that we're not ready for. Kingdoms that are up right now weren't even here. The United States wasn't up until 1700s. So a lot of things just would not make sense. But we're still going with that old teaching. The Bible does not teach these are the wrath of God. But this is a Bible study. So let us collaborate. Share your comments so we can have an open discussion of what the Bible says, not what you think. Okay? So what does the Bible say about the white horse, the red horse, the black horse, and the pale or green horse? It's not what we think. Let's go to the book of Zechariah and see what it says. In Zechariah, it says, chapter 6, Then I turned and raised my eyes and looked. And behold, 4 chariots were coming from between 2 mountains. And the mountains were mountains of bronze. With the first chariot were red horses. With the second chariot, black horses. With the third chariot, white horses. And with the fourth chariot, dappled horses. Dappled being multicolored, the dappled horses. So we have the multicolored dappled horse. The Bible in Revelation says pale and or green horse. Okay, so let's continue. Then I answered and said to the angel who talked with me, What are these, my Lord? And the angel answered and said to me, These are 4 spirits of heaven. 4 spirits of heaven. So the red horse, the black horse, the white horse, and the pale or the dappled multicolored horse, they are not wraths. They are spirits. Let's go on and move to verse 7. Let's see what verse 7 says. Verse 7 says, Then the strong steeds went out, eager to go, that they might walk to and fro throughout the earth. And he said, Go walk to and fro throughout the earth. So they walked to and fro throughout the earth. Now, they are told to walk to and fro, just like Satan has been doing since the beginning of time. Satan has been walking to and fro. These spirits are walking to and fro. Wraths are not walking to and fro. Oh, there's a wrath. They don't walk to and fro. A wrath is not a spirit. Wrath is strong, stern, or fierce anger, vengeance, or punishment as the consequence of anger. And we all know what that is because we have all exhibited that emotion of anger, wrath. Oh man, here comes the great wrath. So when we watch boxing, we talk about the wrath. Someone's going to leash out. They're going to leash out on someone. So we understand what wrath is, and never have we ever put that with wrath being a spirit that goes to and fro. That is no one's wrath but your own. Okay? And God's wrath, God's anger is released after the tribulation. It's after the tribulation. Satan's anger is released during the the tribulation. Remember, it is the Antichrist and the false prophet. God's power goes to the two witnesses because they're going to preach the gospel. They're going to continue to preach the gospel throughout the Middle East or Israel. And the Antichrist and the false prophet, they're going to force you to worship them. That's not God's wrath. That's Satan's wrath because he knows that he has but a short time. Okay? So the four horses and the seals are spirits that are walking to and fro here on earth. They are all events. And the sixth seal closes it out for us. Let's look at that in Revelation 6. Okay? Revelation 6, and it reads, I looked when he opened the sixth seal, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became like blood, and the stars of heaven fell to the earth as a fig tree drops its late figs when it is shaken by a mighty wind. Then the sky receded as a scroll when it is rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved out of its place. And the king of the earth, the great men, the rich men, the commanders, the mighty men, every slave and every free man hid themselves in the caves and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne, from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath has come, and who is able to stand? I have a lesson where I explain the seals, the trumpets, and vials, that they are all events and they all end at Armageddon. Let the Bible speak to you about the so-called final last plagues. I don't think you will follow that logic after watching that video. If you haven't seen that video, you can click it right now. My left, your right. I hope you have enjoyed this study. And if you haven't already done so, like this channel, subscribe to this channel. Then go text, whatever you do, call, and tell everyone you know about the most exciting Bible study on YouTube. And don't forget to study what you just learned. And I am looking forward to studying with you again.